Hello again. Thought I'd do a quick video on my mealworm factory. In the description I will place a link on where I got all the information regarding breeding and feeding and maintenance and so forth. It's extremely easy and extremely cheap. I started out with about 200 mealworms from PetSmart. I didn't feed those ones to my turtle or my fish. I just let them continue through their metamorphosis and turn into beetles, and about 4, maybe 5 months later, I had a good deal of eggs and larvae, which are in the second tray here. I'll show you in a second. And yeah, I'm not putting anything in the fridge. I'm just letting them go. Once I have a large enough collection or a base of the larvae, I imagine I'll start pulling them out and putting them in the fridge to slow them down so that they don't continue through the metamorphosis. But for now, I'm just letting them go. I've got several hundred, maybe even 1,000 down in the lower tray and several hundred of the beetles in the upper tray here. Really quickly show you what I feed them. I pick up bags of pre-sliced vegetables from the grocery store. It's usually carrots, and I throw in a quarter or a half of a potato. They tend to like that a good deal, but these pre-chopped vegetables are really good because there's not a huge amount of moisture for them to for the moisture to get into the oat or the wheat bran, whatever you're using as a bedding, and they get a good variety of vegetables that you can gut load the larvae with for feeding your reptiles or your fish. So in my top drawer here, I've got a good amount of beetles going. They're all pretty much hidden right now, but they are in there. I'd venture a guess that there's maybe 300 or 400 beetles in here right now. Maybe a little bit under that. You can see the broccoli in there. There's an old chunk of potato being devoured right there. They literally crawl inside of it and lay their eggs in it. So if you get a potato like this and you see them inside and they're mating around it or on it, do not throw it out. The potatoes are pretty good for that because they don't go bad. They just turn like this. They're kind of like rocks. And eventually, when you get eggs and they start to hatch, you'll see that you've got the larvae in the inside of the potato. You can crack it open for when you separate them. So that's this tray here. Just using a wheat bran that I got from the bulk barn. It's extremely cheap. I got a huge bag of it for about $5, and I've only used maybe a quarter of it at this point here for the 3 or 4 times that I've changed this out. The beetles themselves don't really eat too much of it. They go for more of the vegetables, but you'll see in a minute that the larvae, the worms that you actually want for the feeding, they go through it pretty quickly. This tray is almost ready to be changed out. You can see it doesn't quite look the way that the other stuff did, and I actually just topped this up the other day, and they've already gone through it. They are in here. They're a little difficult to see. A lot of them are at the back. Pull them forward here. So I got quite a few in there. Some of them are turning. I've got a few of the pupa here. So when those hatch out into beetles, I'll move the beetles into the upper tray, and I just keep the worms in the pupa down here. More of that shredded vegetable mix. And you can see back there in the back corner there is a piece of potato, and that's actually from when this was a beetle tray. They laid eggs on this shelf here, so I actually just moved the potato in with the larvae, and that's been there for a little while. And I'm just leaving it for now. So very easy, very straightforward. The worst part is just waiting for things to start. Again, it took about 4 or 5 months for me to actually get larvae from the beetles in the top tray. They took a really long time. So I'm going kind of slow in feeding the mealworms to my fish and my turtle right now until I get a bit of a stronger base. But I am feeding them. If you see in my other videos, I throw them in, 3 or 4 a day. I'm not going overboard. My turtle's not crazy about them, but he does eat them. And there's a couple here. They're getting to be a pretty good size, as you can see. They're fairly slow to grow, but you'll notice that pretty much overnight they just take off. So that is it. Once these guys start to turn into beetles, they'll go in the top shelf, and once I see worms in the top shelf, I will separate them, move the beetles into their own shelf, which will be probably the third one at the bottom, which I'm not using right now. So just keep the cycle going, make sure that you don't get any mold or mildew in the container. If it starts to smell, you know that you're getting there, and you're going to have to change it out. And this one here in the second drawer is starting to get a bit of an odor, so it's time. Most of the wheat has been eaten. So that's it. Any questions? Let me know. And again, the information that I followed for starting this whole process will be in the description of the video. Bye for now.